Whoa. So here we are in the Just Breathe live webinar. Thank you, all of you. I'm looking at the chat here at the same time as looking at the camera. And wow, how much fun technology gives us. I'm really grateful that we have these ways to communicate and interact, though we have to be each one in our own house. Isn't that amazing? What a wonderful gift this internet is for all of us. Well, hi. So, as you know, the Just Breathe series is all about how do we actually live our life from the heart. And what that means for me is, of course, not through emotion, is from our essence, from our soul. How do we live 100% in surrender, human and divine, as one, interacting constantly in a dance that is harmonious, fluid, and really quite miraculous? And that is the whole theme around Just Breathe. And why Just Breathe? Well, because it can be that simple. Just the breath itself, staying in it, staying present, is magical. So that's why the series is called Just Breathe. So this idea to bring it live came from somewhere within me to expand the sessions which I share every week into something longer. So today we will be interacting in this way. So I can't see you, but I know you're there. I can feel you. And I can speak to you on the chat here. So sometimes I'll be looking at the chat. So sometimes I also will be answering on the chat. And the reason I chose it to be like this instead of Zoom is so that I can share the video afterwards and your faces are not made public. So in order to keep each one's privacy, basically. Well, Just Breathe today. By the way, at the beginning, when I launched this, I said we would be breathing into 1 or 2, 3 themes. If people had any questions for insight, I'm not here to answer questions at all. We are all here to feel for ourselves. So the invitation with the compassionate breath that we are going to be diving into throughout this sharing is, let's feel. Let's each one of us go in and feel those different things that I'm going to share about. I did get 2 requests for insight, and I'll tell you about them a bit later on. But now I'll just kick it off with what came to me today as the basic theme to share in this Just Breathe live, the first live webinar. So everything's going just fine here on the chat. Hi, people, beautiful, beautiful friends and companions on this journey, this wonderful new discovery each moment. So today, the theme that came to me to share in the Just Breathe is that this is the planet where we perceive ourselves to be limited, only to discover we are limitless. Now, grand creator beings that are God also chose to come and experience causality and experience cause and effect and experience limitation through that and perceive ourselves as not being the eternal, limitless ones that we truly are. Why the heck would we want to do something like that? Well, why not? Everything is absolutely possible in the realm of existence. And why not take existence further by going through limitation and transcending it? That is an amazing experiment, isn't it? The thing is that before coming into the body, it's wow, yes, let's do that. Then, when we're in the body and we forget about that whole expansiveness, the hugeness, the infinite one that we are, well, it gets a little bit different. And because we are all of us here in the, hi Gregor, hi Simone, hi Krisha, and everyone else I might not still have said hi to. So we're here, we're in the body, we're living our everyday lives. So it's quite practical if we can get this down to the everyday experience of being incarnated and going through this forgetfulness and now already fully awakenedness. How to make this grander and grander and grander, because we discovered, of course, that the grandness did not lie in having power over each other, in having power over material possessions, in manipulating, in having to achieve and be the winner, in always having to have more. We discovered that throughout our existences, throughout this experience on earth. So how to tap into that grandness and remain in it without getting carried away and even afraid of assuming the wholeness of it. So let's just take a deep breath with that. Well, since we have become accustomed to perceiving ourselves as limited because we have a mind and a body, the invitation here is to join the body, the mind, and the soul as one unique, harmonious experience of existence whilst embodied here on earth. So even when we are quite enlightened, very aware of who we are and eventually even why we are here and what we are doing here, being in a body and having a human mind is still challenging. But only as far as we remain attached to our beliefs and concepts around that. So the first thing is disengage from the way you perceive your body to be a limitation. Disengage from the way you eventually perceive your mind to be a blockage or somehow to be in the way. The idea here is to reunite, right? Reunite human and divine, to be one within. And so it is without. So the physical body cannot be dissociated from that oneness of human and divine. It is where the human lives. It is where the divine exists. The mind cannot be dissociated from that either. But as long as we perceive the mind as being an enemy, there goes my mind. Oh, my mind is always doing this to me. Oh, why doesn't it just shut up? Etc. As long as we are perceiving the mind as something separate, we are not really owning up to our masterly presence. And one thing I want to bring in with this awareness that the mind and the body are essential pieces of the same puzzle of the divine human is a spiritual mind. So, before we tapped into our spiritual nature, and I don't really like to use the term, but I really don't find another one at the moment. So please bear with me and feel what I mean. Once we tap into that, it's a whole new realm of possibilities, of things to perceive, and of course, to understand. So initially, when we start awakening, we have to understand in order to trust enough to then gradually surrender. The thing is, as humans, we become very attached to practices, ways of perceiving things, so to beliefs, ways of doing things, ways of understanding things. And what is essential here is to realize that what worked at some stage does not necessarily work right now. So, what worked for you in your awakening process, in your coming to realize you are so much more than just a small human that is not worthy and so on. What worked for you then was precious. It doesn't necessarily work for you now. So could you just disengage and gracefully and gratefully let go of what worked for you before? Even let go of the need to know how. Allow your soul to show you, one breath at a time. Because we live in the world of cause and effect, of course, everything has a reason. Obviously, I mean, a cause has an effect. The reason for the effect is the cause. Basic. Now, do we have to look for the reasons behind everything that happens? Or is it just one more spiritual entertainment? If there is a reason that you need to perceive, can you trust that it will come to you in the silence of your breath as you just remain present to whatever is happening? And with this, I'd like to invite you so that we can just breathe this disengagement from fixed perceptions of how things are supposed to be, of how things were but don't need to be anymore, or how things are going to be as a consequence of. letting go of the need for all of this. These are needs of the spiritual mind. And as long as we keep it fed, it will keep on ruling. So the invitation now is to take a deep, deep, precious breath. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Here where I'm sitting, it's not very practical to lean my head back, but I do invite you to do so if you can. If you can just lie back or lean back wherever you're sitting eventually. Well, if not, it's okay. It's just an invitation and a way to surrender even deeper. So as you breathe deeply, softly, allow yourself to be so fully present right here in this precious moment. Feeling yourself gently landing in your center, deep down in your belly. Feeling the warmth, the safe embrace of your own breath, of your own self. As you land completely here, absolutely now. So if you would like to now allow whatever perceptions, beliefs of limitation you would like to invite back home, home into your center, to disengage from them, to let go, to bring them back into the pool of nothingness where they were born from. Even bringing the belief that your mind is somehow an impediment, an enemy, that your body is in the way as well. Bringing these limiting beliefs around your physicality, your humanness. Back home. And I would like to invite you, as you remain present in this expanding stillness from within you, to tap into the more that you are beyond the limiting beliefs and concepts. And to realize that within that more, there is space for the body, the mind, your humanness. It is such a warm, alchemical cauldron where you can mix yourself together within you. Just like the breath mixes the inhale and the exhale. Into exquisite sensuality of having a body, of feeling through the body. Of realizing expansive freedom without having to leave the body. Notice how your breath, it is not trapped in the body, though it feeds it, enhances it, expands it. It does not remain trapped. Neither do you. If you can release the idea that being in a body is a trap, a prison. And realize that you are the chooser of how you live your physicality. I would like to invite you now to open your eyes again if they were closed, but remain in this stillness. Remain in this expansiveness, in this knowingness of the more that you are. And for those of you who are choosing your embodied realization or even living it, I would like to share that realization is continuous, ever expanding. It is not somewhere you arrive. It is an ongoing experience of endless expansion. And if there is anything lying in a dark recess of rejection within you, anything that you have not so far acknowledged or fully accepted, it will come forward, because the floodlights of your awareness cannot leave anything behind, cannot leave anything hiding, fearful of yourself. And one of the questions, or requests for practice, for insight, for practice through the breath, was to release the old, to make way for the new in love, from the love within ourselves. And that I feel we have now experienced with this breath, this compassionate breath that we shared together. And another of the questions, or whatever, requests for insight, I must find another word for the question thing, was that abundance is an important issue living on earth, but if you don't have health, you cannot enjoy either abundance nor other things. So this is what another person shared. And I would go so far as to say that this is completely related to what I have invited perception into, to realize that the body is an integral part of the beingness of who we truly are here on earth whilst still human. And in fact, abundance and health are not distinct things. I will go so far as to say that abundance and you are not distinct things. And if we're talking about abundance as related to money, which I suppose is what was meant partly what was meant there in that comment. Well, again, money is no more or less than your body, than you, than your mind, than the whole of you, than your essence. Because, as you know, all of that is just energy serving consciousness. Energy continuously serves consciousness. Wherever we're placing our consciousness, will produce like effect, because energy will ensure that we experience the consciousness we are allowing. So where does health come in here? Okay, so if the body is going through, it could be illness, it could be pain, discomfort of any kind, it is very normal for us to immediately want to fix it, reject it, consider it an enemy. Why is my body doing this to me? And also to want to somehow dim the discomfort, to make it not be there by distracting ourselves with something else, or taking some painkillers or something. Well, fact is, the body is a vessel of consciousness. It is the energy, physical matter is the energy of your consciousness. So, in our path of awakening and awakened beings, human beings, it is absolutely natural to go through sometimes illness, sometimes just aches and pains, because as we expand our awareness, as we allow more of a merge with our so-called light body or free energy body, through our perception of the more that we are. That's how it happens. It's as if those drops, those particles of pureness, of lightness that we ultimately are, trickle into the physical body through our perception, through our awareness, and they encounter spaces in the body where the energy was dormant, stagnant, stale, and that integration, that merging with that energy that comes from higher consciousness, creates discomfort. If you breathe with that and accept that as a natural part of the process of evolving into a purely divine human, you will maybe see that with gratitude. And instead of trying to avoid it, be with it. Stay. Stay still. If there is an illness, what aspects of personality are lying out there, just waiting to be embraced, to be fully acknowledged? And in doing so, releasing that energy that was stuck in a time and space loop, which then creates disease. And why is it not possible to enjoy the abundance that we are if, for instance, we are having a physical issue, be it an illness or another kind of discomfort? Why not? This is my question. If you dive within you, beyond the limited version, the limited concept of who you think yourself to be whilst human in a physical body with a human mind, you tap into the unlimited, which is intrinsically abundant. The range of feelings that we can bring up from within ourselves is so abundant that sometimes we even cover it up by feeling euphoric. And euphoria is the mind's way of perceiving joy, but it removes us from remaining in the stillness of receiving that joy or whatever we're feeling that's bubbling up from our expanded consciousness. So, going through any kind of physical ailment from a conscious perspective, from an expanded awareness perspective, can be perceived as a blessing rather than a curse. Because the issue is there a cooperation between you and your body? Are you a joint one? It's a symbiosis. Nothing about us can be separate if we are to experience embodied realization. So all is continuously embraced into the compassionate essence that informs the human existence into more and more of who we are. So I'm just gonna invite us to breathe this in, to feel this as well. The invitation is, how do you feel yourself as in relation to your body? And as you breathe, and realize abundance and the body are all just part of the same thing. You. I invite you to just surrender to that breath that happens in your body. Allowing it to flow. Allowing yourself to merge and dissolve within the breath. Which is within your body. In each precious moment. You see, as you unbox yourself, as you unbox your awareness, your consciousness, by allowing yourself a more expanded awareness, what happens is that whatever is boxed in, so those limited perceptions of the aspects of personality, they come forward and ask you, you've needed me all along. Don't you need me anymore? So if ever you feel you're constantly being tested by life, if you could release that too and accept that it's simply you asking yourself, are you ready for me? And adding that aspect that was boxed into a certain belief system, to a certain way of perceiving and doing, adding it back into the whole, back into your essence, that is abundance. That is you. And you can be quite challenging to yourself. So if you have not yet opened your eyes again, I invite you to. And well, I will leave. This is our Just Breathe for today. If you'd like to say anything, to share anything, expand into anything, well, do so now in the chat if you'd like, because that's the only way I have of listening to you in human terms, though I can feel your presence, which I am very thankful for. So I'm leaving this space now for you. Thank you, Elea. Thank you very much too. Thank you, Margarida and Kathy. This live stream will be available afterwards publicly to be watched again. Thank you, Krisha. And I am that I am, I exist, love that. Don't know your name, but it's a beautiful way of calling yourself. Thank you so much, Serena. Thank you. And Gabrielle, Simone. Oh, great. You're in nature, Simone. That's beautiful. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you all. Well, as you know, this will be going on now every second Sunday of the month this time, because it sort of came to me already after the second Sunday. It was today. So the second Sunday, let me have a look at the calendar here, of February is on the 14th. So it will be held at the same time. And it will be also upon registration. So the live stream, I've chosen to keep it private in the sense that it gives the people who have actually registered a private space to be in this. So that's why it's necessary to register. I know some people had trouble registering. Well, I don't know what could have happened, but my website has been taking a while to sort of land onto mobile phones somehow. Whatever. Anyway, it will be necessary to register again for the next session. And I am, for those of you who have known me for a while and who have actually worked for me for a while, I have held the Be Beyond Illusion workshops for around 6 years already. They had different names throughout those years. For the last 3, they've been called that. And oh yes, it's St. Valentine's Day. Thank you for reminding me, Barbara. The 14th of February, where we're holding this again, is St. Valentine's Day. Well, so I was talking about Be Beyond Illusion. It was a monthly workshop, 2.5 hours, around 2.5 to 3 hours. And 2 or 3 months ago, I decided to stop that format and to just stop for a while and to allow new format, whatever or not, whatever came to me. So it will be held every other month starting in December. And now the format is starting in February. Sorry, I don't know where I got December. Anyway, so it's starting on the 28th of February, then again it's in April, and so on. And the format is very private, very personalized. So I only take 4 people, 2 to 4 people in that Be Beyond Illusion workshop. And we dive into consciousness, just like we're doing now, but with writing, perceiving, sharing, etc. For 2.5 to 3 hours. And then there is still the option of doing healing touch session with Joanna, my partner in InPassion coaching project. And that is also something completely new. So it will be done online after Be Beyond Illusion. So people choose if they want to do one or the other. Also maximum 4 people. We will have a group in Portuguese, a group in English, and when it's full, then we might create another one, but not more than that. In the InPassion coaching project, I like to work at a very personalized level, because I do feel that makes so much difference. And we are all so unique and such an abundant pool of wisdom, each one of us, that to me it makes a lot of sense to work on a very personalized one-to-one basis. Thank you for joining. I'm loving feeling your presence. It's just wow. Such beautiful souls, divine humans here with me today, with each other, all of us together today for this first Just Breathe live session. And let's see. Yeah, there's nothing new on the comments. And the comments thread, I mean, anyone who watches this afterwards, the comments thread will be available. Whoa, it's so loving. Wow. Thank you. Thank you all so very, very much for joining. And see you around. And in the information below the video, there's all sorts of links where you can find more information about the InPassion coaching project and the personalized, beautiful experiences that we provide. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye. Let's see how there it is. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of Sunday.